Today, I'm going to show you my roadmap for the price of silver. Once you see it, you will understand why I am so bullish on silver and why I believe that in the coming years it will outperform any other investment. But first, please have a look at this picture. Are you familiar with these Russian dolls? They are also known as stacking dolls or nesting dolls, because each of them fits inside another. How are these dolls connected to the price of silver? In just a few moments I will explain, but for now, please keep this image in your mind because it has the potential to lead you to some life-altering gains. Setting price targets is a risky business because no one can predict the future. All we can do is to make an educated guess and try to come up with the most probable scenario based on the fundamental and technical data which is available. There is no guarantee that this scenario will ever come true. Please keep that in mind and invest responsibly. My advice is to stick to physical silver bullion and avoid any kind of debt or leverage. This way, it will be easier for you to withstand the volatility and hold on to your position. Now that we've made that clear, we can proceed. Silver is an important industrial resource, which is in short supply. To the best of our knowledge, its price has been artificially suppressed for decades in order to maintain the illusion that the US dollar is strong and extend the life of the fiat monetary system. As I've explained time and time again, all manipulations are destined to end because they are opposed to the laws of economics. Just as nature abhors a vacuum, economies abhor price manipulations. They discourage production and encourage consumption until a shortage develops. The shortage exposes the manipulation and doesn't allow it to carry on. When the manipulation finally breaks, it could lead to an outsized move in the price as the market is seeking a new balance point. This presents us with a unique opportunity to hold a highly undervalued asset, which sooner or later is likely to appreciate. How high can it possibly go? Well, there were two notable events in which the price of silver shot up very rapidly. The first took place in 1980, after an entire decade of high inflation and concerns that the US dollar may collapse. The second was in 2011, in the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis, and fears that the newly enacted policy of quantitative easing would again lead to inflation. In both cases, the price of silver rose as high as $50 an ounce. This defines a very clear ceiling, which the price is yet to break. In between these two events, the price of silver bounced up and down, on a floor, so to speak, of about $4 an ounce. This created a formation which in technical analysis is known as a cup. Since 2011, the price of silver has been in a prolonged correction, which could be regarded as a handle. Together, the two plot a powerful technical formation known as a cup and handle. This is perhaps a good time to address the fact that among gold and silver investors, technical analysis is extremely unpopular. Many of them argue that since the market is manipulated, this technique is pretty much useless. There is some truth to that. Technical analysis assumes that the market is liquid, and that all the participants are rational. In other words, it assumes that everyone is trying to maximize their gains. A manipulator is by definition someone who is not trying to make a profit, but rather to affect and direct the price. Therefore, the presence of a powerful manipulator distorts the market and renders any attempt to analyze it futile. However, I believe that market forces are stronger than any manipulation, and that on a long enough time scale, they tend to cancel them out. Since we're dealing here with one of the longest technical formations in recorded history, which spans over 50 years, I believe that technical analysis is still relevant. Now let's zoom in and have another look at what the price has been doing since 2011. Interestingly, we notice yet another cup, smaller in size, which spans for 7 years, between the 2013 crash and the 2020 surge. The bottom of this cup is roughly $14 an ounce, and its brim is roughly $30 an ounce. Again, the price action since the 2020 top can be regarded as the handle of this smaller cup. But wait, there is more. Within this handle, we can identify several cup and handle formations on smaller time scales, which are getting more and more compressed. Do you see now why the price of silver is reminiscent of a set of Russian dolls, nested one inside another? It's as though it is repeating the same message again and again on all possible timescales, down to the minutes. And in my view, the message is I want to move higher. You see, in technical analysis, a cup and handle formation is considered to be extremely bullish. The formation is triggered when the handle has completed its consolidation and the price breaks out and rises above the brim of the cup. In this case, the price tends to rise by as much as the depth of the cup. This usually happens quite rapidly and with tremendous energy. Since these formations are nested one inside the other, the completion of each one of them is set to trigger the next one in a chain of events that could send the price of silver to the stratosphere. For instance, the short-term cup and handle, which began in December last year, was triggered this April. The bottom of the cup was $22 an ounce, and its brim was $26 an ounce, which gives us an amplitude of $4 and a price target of $30 an ounce. If we manage to reach this target and exceed it, this will trigger the intermediate term cup and handle, which we mentioned earlier. Since this larger cup and handle has an amplitude of $16, this will give us an intermediate price target for silver of no less than $46 an ounce. This puts us close to $50 an ounce, which is the all-time high for silver. If we manage to advance even further, this would trigger the long-term cup and handle formation and propel the price to new record highs. Using the same principle, we can calculate the long-term target for the price of silver by adding the depth of the cup to the breakout level. Since this monster cup is $46 deep, that would give us a price target of $96 an ounce. Given how lackluster silver has been in the past few decades, this price target already seems quite optimistic. However, history shows that on very large time scales, linear analysis is inadequate, and logarithmic analysis gives much more accurate results. In my view, this behemoth of a formation deserves to be analyzed on a logarithmic scale. If we think of the move from $4 an ounce to $50 an ounce as a 12-fold increase, it stands to reason that we should place our long-term target for the price of silver at 12 times the breakout level, or in other words, at no less than $600 an ounce. Yes, I know this kind of prediction sounds absurd, and some people may even consider it to be reckless. But keep in mind that this is a long-term target, which may take years to materialize. Technical analysis is not a crystal ball, and it doesn't guarantee any future outcome. All it does is to give us an indication as to where the price may reach under a certain set of conditions, such as continued fiscal deficits by the governments of the world, continued money printing by the central banks, and out-of-control inflation for the rest of this decade. Even if silver does reach this lofty goal, it will not get there in a straight line. Prices tend to fluctuate up and down, and even during a bull market, such as the one I anticipate, there will be steep corrections. In each of these corrections, the price of silver may drop precipitously, scaring away the new and inexperienced investors. This will continue until the price finds support, consolidates, and resumes its rally. So please don't get too excited about the price of silver when it rises by a few bucks, and don't get too discouraged when it gives back some of these gains. Concentrate instead on the long-term targets which we described here today, and this will give you some perspective. In order to ride this emerging bull market successfully, we need to disregard short-term fluctuations and focus on the big picture. Whenever the price does something shocking, take a deep breath and try to relax. Remind yourself that silver is a rare substance, that it is extremely useful in industry, and that it is highly undervalued. In an environment of high inflation and a waning confidence in fiat currencies, it is also needed as sound money, which cannot be printed out of thin air. It is a tangible asset which you yourself can hold without the assistance of a broker or an ETF. And once you own it in its physical form, it is difficult to track or to confiscate. Right now, very few people are aware of this, but as time goes on, others will come to realize it as well. As the price begins to rise and set new all-time highs, silver will gain more and more popularity. The signs of this are already there, if you're only able to see them. Thank you for listening to the Silver Hermit podcast. If you like this content, please donate in the link which appears in the description below. Please subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends and family. Hit the bell icon to be notified whenever I release a new video. Remember, I'm not a licensed financial advisor. This video is intended for general informational purposes only and should not be regarded as investment advice. Before taking any investment decision, please consult with a professional financial advisor who may assess your personal investment objectives and needs.